No, they use restrooms.
I think so. It will
High school
do.
track, middle school track, and soccer. All in there. Take their kids. Like, I don't know. I think the high school picks up now,
Right. Should we give her a round of applause?
I see that.
That's where we're going to have.
6 o'clock's on.
It's 6:30 now. Gonna run to
We don't have to all. Which word is that last year? Or was that new part? New side. Where the trailer is, where the trailer for the patient. That's where everybody Okay, we call this workshop meeting to order. I would like to ask Jason if you would lead us in prayer, please.
Yes, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for giving us this day, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to come and take part in this workshop, Lord. Lord, please watch over and guide everybody here, Lord. Keep them safe on their travels home, and as we discuss the business of the city, Lord. Lord, thank you for giving your Son to die on the cross for our sins. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, the business that will be discussed tonight, the only thing is the proposed maybe a new alcohol ordinance. Jason had brought that up during our last meeting, so with that, we'll start off.
Okay.
Jason.
Well, I brought it up because I knew that the restaurants in the city of Mccaysville have been asking. So we were wanting to explore what options we had. I think my thoughts were, as we discussed it in the council meeting, was we could put it on a ballot and let the citizens of Mccaysville vote on them. So what I'd like to do is discuss what we need to, kind of the two options on the ballot. And then if everybody wants to put it on a ballot, then Courtney, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is if it is approved, then we would adopt it right after that. So we need to have that in place, as soon as we can after that.
That would be the best way to do forward, yeah.
At a council meeting.
The council has to approve
Right.
to take it to a vote, correct?
The council has to call yes, they have to approve to take it to the vote. But what Jason's talking about is that after, if it is approved, there would need to be some regulations put in place. And so Jason's saying like, hey, I don't want to wait until after it's approved to start that process. Let's go ahead and talk about those things. Because otherwise, it could be this weird situation where you have it approved, but there's no rules.
Yeah, I think we need something in place if that's the case.
But you can't vote on it until and unless
Council meeting.
it is approved by the citizens.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we have to put it out there for a vote, correct?
Anything with distilled spirits, yes. Yes, so anything with distilled spirits has to be put out for a vote.
Did we find out which election it would be?
It's the May 19th
May
one.
19th. So it would be the May 19th. So I guess what we're looking at is the May 19th election. We would have a special election here that would, whatever alcohol ordinance we decide would be, the citizens could come vote on those and then approve it or not. And then at that point, our next council meeting, or we'd have a special call meeting, we'd adopt ordinances to enact whatever's voted on.
Now, just like with any ordinance, you have to have 2 readings before it can go.
Right.
So you'd have 2 readings and then the vote.
Did you research that on if it did pass, on the only things they can do and what they cannot do?
I mean, if it passes, then it's in place. It's
Correct.
just then limiting it. You
My
can't-
question is, does the council have to approve it going to the vote of the citizens?
Do you have to?
Does the council have to approve
The
that?
council gets the decision, so there's a vote.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so we'd vote, at the next meeting, we'd vote whether or not to put it on a ballot.
All right.
And then if it gets approved is when we.
There's
the rules, yeah.
there's another option. I don't want you to think that's the only way. the citizens can do a petition as well, and then it gets put on for a referendum.
Based off the last election here.
I know that, you guys all had a copy of the drafts. I've talked to some of you individually. Has there been any questions that have come up just about the whole process, or about, what can be voted on, what can't be voted on, those sorts of things?
I guess the two things I had was what we discussed on how it needed to be presented on the ballot. It was the two separate things would be, to break these out would be like a package sales of the spirits and then a served by the drink.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, and the law, the statute has specific wording. We don't get to pick the wording, so it's specific wording, but you can do both questions if you want to. But one is package sales, one is by the drink.
That was the two questions.
Now, there is, the citizens through a referendum already approved Sunday sales. And again, we don't get to put out the language for that. So when they approved Sunday sales, it did include distilled spirits if distilled spirits were ever approved in the future.
Right.
So if distilled spirits are approved through a referendum, then the Sunday sales will kick in and they will be allowed on Sundays as well, pursuant to the ordinance that's in place. And then we revise it at any point in time.
And there would be a second application fee for this in addition to the
Beer and wine.
beer and wine.
Everything can have its own application fee. You also can do taxes.
Yep. And you can limit the license, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the council can say, already the one in place now limits the license, saying who can, different things of that nature, who can have a license. So it could be sort of the same situation.
And all we have now is 2 alcohol licenses in the city. 3, I'm sorry. 3. The Rum Cake Lady, Burra Burra, and Twisted Tomato.
Do you know right offhand how much revenue we bring in
From beer and wine?
yeah,
I do not know. There is, I can tell you the taxation on it by state law. So malt beverages and wine, now malt beverages is beer obviously. It's 5 cents to 12 cents per ounce. And then the wine is 22 cents per liter. And that's the same with distilled spirits as well. So,
And if you do it per drink, there's a little difference. So distilled
Correct.
spirits is 3% per drink. Malt beverages, you can do 6 per container. There's a whole breakdown of all those different things that you can do.
I know that they give me and Denise every month their alcohol to food ratio for the restaurants, which they've always been more food than alcohol, because if they was not, they'd be in violation of the ordinance. So, but it adds up quickly. I don't know the exact amount. Would you, Denise?
Not right off the top, I can pull a report.
But I can get that to you, Commissioner.
okay, thank you.
But those percentages is a law as well. It's covered under OCGA. It's 48-8-50, which breaks down the percentages of distilled spirits, beer, and wine, how much it charges per liter, ounce, or by ounce. So, on the taxation on that.
And you say that if it passed, that the state would send us the rules, or
No.
what, how
No,
does
if it passes, Mccaysville needs to make its own rules.
we make our own rules?
So Jason's suggestion, and I think it's a good suggestion, is to start that conversation now, so that if it does pass, there's not a lull in between what happens, away in this no man's land where anybody can go out and demand a license. I think it's a good conversation to have. There are certain things that the state prohibits, but for the most part, Mccaysville will be the one writing the rules.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney, there's only certain things that they can do if it does pass, as far as the rules go.
Very similar to what we have now.
Correct,
The
right.
same ordinance.
Enforce violations, charge local fees, how much you want to charge for the license. Establish the application requirements, basically what we got for beer and wine now. Have to be a resident of the county, so forth. Background check, fingerprint check. You can limit the number of licenses. So if you only want 3 liquor by the drink licenses in the city, that's all you can give. And you can set the hours of sale and also the distances of churches, schools, which we don't have schools. But now there's a law that gives the distance for churches. So you have to abide by that law. We couldn't make that up ourselves.
So very similar to our current alcohol ordinance, you can trace all those things with distilled spirits.
Correct.
Now, I know a couple of years ago, we circulated and there was put on the floor an amendment to clarify a couple of things, to address things like happy hour, things like that. And so I sent all of you a copy of that, again, because I think it's a good conversation to have. If you're going to look at the alcohol ordinance, look at what we talked about potentially revising last time, as well as this time. And I guess just kind of open the floor to see what to see what you guys think. Obviously you can't vote, but I think this is a good opportunity just to talk about the things that you like or don't like with the current ordinance.
So you say there's not that much difference in the rules of alcohol as beer and wine as in the distilled spirits? It runs along the same, or there are different laws that we have to abide by with that, rather than just the beer and the wine?
There are different laws, but so there are different laws for everything. But Mccaysville can put in place an ordinance that addresses all of it, beer, wine, and distilled spirits, by the package or by the drink. So right now we have, by the drink, beer and wine. So we could go ahead and we could address all of those different things at that time. So you have to comply with all the different ones. I guess that's the answer.
And I think, well, starting off with one question. You know, if this does pass, how many liquor by the drink licenses does the city council want to give out?
We don't have a limit now, do we?
No. We have a downtown business district though, that goes from the intersection of the police department down here, West Tennessee and East Tennessee Avenue, along Blue Ridge Drive, take a right on Toccoa, and it goes just right there at Kenny's Pizza and Subs. And so anything that touches Blue Ridge Drive and Toccoa and that downtown business district is allowed to get an alcohol license right now. So that's why you only have the Rum Cake Lady, Burra, and Twisted that have alcohol licenses. But I don't think there's anybody else in the city right now that has a restaurant that would be even wanting an alcohol license, because there are no more restaurants. I know at one time, Cat's Deli, the little coffee shop there, they looked at doing one. Then she backed out on it. Kenny's Pizza and Subs looked at doing beer only, and they backed out on it as well. So that's pretty much the only restaurants you have in that downtown business district as we speak.
And then the only place then for package would be,
Well, now packaging would be different, because packaging would be, now packaging beer and wine, y'all can vote on that, correct, Courtney?
Yes, they can vote on packaging beer and wine. That's what the amendment was before that did not pass.
Correct, but the distilled spirits has to be voted on by the citizens, which is Jack Daniels. You know, but
But that would still just be, if it was packaged, would still just be in this district, correct?
You can limit
Yes,
it.
you can limit your district.
You can limit the district, you can limit the distance from schools, like he was talking about, you can limit all those different things. You can limit the number of licenses a person has. The council has the ability to do all of that.
Correct.
So that would be the ordinance that Jason was talking about discussing and having ready for a vote if it passed with the referendum.
In your state law distances, it says no business may offer to sell wine or malt beverages within 100 yards of a school. We have no schools down here, so we don't have to worry about that, or college campuses. Now, distilled spirits, which is liquor by the drink, they have to be within 100 yards of a church building.
Cannot be.
Cannot, that's what I meant. So the only place we would have there would probably be Kenny's and around that church area. If y'all decided to do the downtown business district and go all the way up Blue Ridge Drive, you would have the Methodist church there. And then where the counseling service is, there where the Tankersley building is, there's a little church in that shopping center, and that would be it.
No, there's another
There's
one,
another church.
right up there below the gas stations.
London.
The Tankersley's place, the shopping mall there.
No,
No.
no,
You know.
the one that used to be Donna's daycare.
Oh yeah, in behind there. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this old ordinance, the one that we have in place now, one of my biggest issues, and I presented it a couple of years back, right now, like the restaurants can sell a bottle of wine if somebody comes in there. My biggest problem with that was, it says in our ordinance that it has to be uncorked, they have to drink some of it, and then it be recorked and took home with them. I think that's crazy. And the reason why I think that's crazy, you're saying, okay, you want to buy a bottle of wine, you got to take a drink first, then we'll put it in a bag, then you get in your vehicle and drive off. I mean, if they want to buy a bottle of wine, I think they should just be able to buy the bottle of wine without uncorking it and taking a drink, then get in their vehicle. That puts my job in, I mean, that's just pretty much saying, hey, have you a drink, get behind the wheel.
Well, that's why we looked at the amending that the last time, and while we have it. So that would be the premise behind the package sales, and then the liquor by the drink is, I mean, I know there's 2 restaurants at Copper Hill that serve liquor, or spirits by the drink. So, I mean, we're, you know, it's not like it's not here, it's here. So not only are we missing out on tax revenue there, because most of the people that come here, they'll park here and walk over there, or vice versa. So I think it's something to look at, especially as much as our the restaurants have asked. So, but wanted to get everybody here and let's discuss everybody's thoughts on how they want to approach it. Like I said, I think the best approach is to put it on a ballot, but
Obviously, you
And then have
can't
everything
vote,
ready.
but you're open, you're
Yeah.
welcome to have a discussion. You're welcome to say, I don't like this, I do like this. You're welcome to have that discussion with everybody here present. You just can't vote.
Let me start. What's the basic reason that we're having this discussion? The basic reason, the good for the citizens of Mccaysville. So somebody tell me the real good reason that we should start selling whiskey and start packaging up and down the street up through there. Somebody give me that. And I will ask them the same thing to come from the audience if they want to have a conversation with me on that. What's it really going to do for our city?
we'll generate tax revenue from it, and then our restaurants will generate potentially more customers based on it, so it'll be more flow for them. Like I said, they've approached several times, so that's the reason I thought we needed to discuss it.
Okay, I understand trying to appease everybody, you know, I understand that part. But personally, I cannot vote for this ordinance that we're trying to get passed. We have an ordinance here. We have beer, we have wine. This ordinance that we're working with, I'm not real smart on this, but I understand that it went in place in, what was it, 2018?
So, yeah.
Okay. In 2018, none of us were here. But the council, they decided that this is as far as they could go. I had one of those council women tell me, Billy Wayne, the only reason I voted for this is because this is as far as we wanted to go with it. They wanted to go further, but we agreed that we would, I don't know if this is the right word, meet the businesses halfway, allow them to sell beer and wine, and we'd have an ordinance to control that. So, it's worked well, has it not? Has it worked well?
It has. The ordinance is in place, has worked well. There's some things that need to be changed. And I think this ordinance here does not address so much distilled spirits because y'all can't vote on distilled spirits. It would be the citizens voting on distilled spirits if they want it to be inside the city or not. The only thing y'all would have the vote on is to say, should we put this on the ballot for the citizens to vote on it or not? If it passes, then we have no choice but to do an ordinance on distilled spirits. And I think that's what we're going to talk about tonight. If y'all decide to put it on the ballot for the citizens of Mccaysville to vote distilled spirits in place or not, we're trying to see what we need to do as far as an ordinance goes to control that. What Courtney did say is true. Obviously, y'all all know here on the board, I control all the alcohol licenses in the city. And I sign my name on that license, and so does Denise. And at any given time, they violate any of the ordinances, I can pull their alcohol license for 6 months or indefinitely, which is a good thing that the city has that power. We've had no issues yet since 2018 with beer and wine as far as the people that have an alcohol license in the city, which is 3. We did have 2, Burra and Twisted. Then the rum cake lady decided to do beer only about a year ago, I think so. So I guess the biggest thing is, if y'all decide to put it on the ballot, we definitely need to discuss what the rules and regulations are going to be if it passes. So, is that right, Courtney?
Yeah.
And then for us to get that on the ballot, all of us has to vote.
Not tonight, but at the next
Not
meeting.
tonight, but
Yes, sir.
To the next meeting.
And I think tonight's meeting was just to address what would y'all like to see and what kind of rules and regulations would y'all like to have if the citizens do pass distilled spirits by the drink. I say, since I'm the one enforcing this ordinance, I think we should keep it pretty much the same platform as we have for beer and wine. The same. Now, some things need to change, just like what I brought up earlier, which has nothing to do with distilled spirits. That has something to do with selling a bottle of wine. Pretty much we're permitting right now, according to our ordinance, for you to have a drink and get behind the wheel.
We're not permitting that.
Well,
That is not a DUI.
I know, but
There's laws.
I'm just calling it like it is.
It's not a DUI.
You know, I think that needs to be changed big time. And that's with beer and wine. That has nothing to do with distilled spirits. And y'all can change that yourself without putting it on the ballot as far as that goes. Um, and I've been approached by, like Jason, since I'm the one that has to sign my name to these alcohol licenses about distilled spirits. And I think it would be that the citizens decide it.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I also think too, that you should know that it's already here.
It
Like
is.
distilled spirits are right across the line.
If it's already here, why are we voting on it? Not in Mccaysville, it's not here. I
Right.
mean,
It's not allowed here, but ask Michael how many walk across the line.
Several.
you know, my problem with this too is, I didn't even know this much about, but alcohol is the most addicting drug that there is. And we, as the citizens of Mccaysville, the leaders of Mccaysville, is discussing how we can take that most addictive drug and make it legal. I mean.
And I'll say this, 99% of your DUIs are beer and wine. They're not distilled spirits. And the reason why is the cost of it. I have arrested, I don't know how many people for DUI, and Courtney will agree with me. When you arrest them, they're DUI on beer and wine because it's cheap. You're not going to have a bottle of Jack Daniels in the middle of your console drinking that, but you're going to have a Bud Light. And
Michael?
Yes, sir.
What's the alcohol content of beer? 6%?
it can even go more than that. Yes, sir. It just depends on the brewery, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Same with wine.
Is it about 12?
15?
There's some.
14.
So
I
he
thought
did
it-
say that he
I thought
would
it
like
was
for us
6.
to speak, and I have a really good point that maybe you're not aware of. I'm the general manager of Burra and Twisted for 4 years now, and I've gone with my distributors to find a solution of, we are a tourist town, we are driven off the train. It's the reality of our restaurants. What happens a lot is they come in, they ask for margaritas, they ask for certain drinks, and they turn around and they do go right across the way. So my employees that are great, I lose them December, January, and February. So to retain employees, and we all care about our people here, most of my employees live in Mccaysville. So it's very hard to see them going somewhere or the waterfront or places that offer liquor. And just so you're aware, distributors have found us solutions. I have a vodka, tequila, and a rum that is made from grape, but it's 21% ABV. So it's giving you the same effect as vodka, tequila, and rum. Now I'm allowed to sell it because it's made from grape, but just so you know, they have found that solution to give somebody the same content of a vodka cranberry, for example. So I'm selling the same thing right now, but it's made from, distilled from grape. But
What's the content of
21% ABV.
your beer?
No,
Of the wine.
of the wine, it's made from
So,
wine.
Yeah.
and she's right, our ordinance does currently say you can sell a malt beverage that is up to 14% and a wine that is up to 24%.
Correct.
So the same effect as if I were selling vodka, and it's just upsetting to see so many people walk in, turn around, go right, I can throw a baseball to where they're buying the liquor, and then going on reviews and hurting our business by saying, what a joke, you can't even buy a margarita, you can't even buy a classic cocktail that people like to enjoy with a burger, with a steak, with anything. So for you to understand that it does hurt the businesses, that we strive and we show up. We're recently open 7 days a week to give a destination for not only for my employees to have hours, but for people to have, hey, we can go to Twisted, we can go to Burra, we can go to Happy Bear, we can enjoy. And if we're gonna control it and make sure everyone is, server permit through the city, not over serving, just like we don't now, we will abide by the rules if we can have the same, liquor, wine, same thing. It's just sad to see that we're losing business because we don't have, a normal cocktail menu that people can go and enjoy their meal with. And that's the only thing we're asking for, is give us the opportunity to make that revenue to give back to the city, to give back to our employees, to give us a destination. We worked hard with the train. They're offering us more trains, more stops, because it started with a conversation of losing employees and losing good people that can't stick around as a server for $2.14 an hour because no tables are coming to tip them. We can't rely on locals to come in every day, and it's hard, even me as a local. I can't go eat out every day. But the train offers that, and I'm able to offer that for my employees to stay. And their schedule, I don't know if you've seen it, we're getting trains January and February for the first time, next 2027. And that is something that we can be proud of, to say, hey, we're moving in the right direction. We're giving jobs now. We're giving opportunity to grow. We're giving the restaurants able to double our revenue, to offer more money to the city, because every time I'm in these meetings, hey, we need money for this, we need money for that, well, if the restaurants can help, let us. We'll control it, and if we do anything wrong, take it away, like you said, take away the license. So just something to think about, because I did not know that you can get a great distilled wine for 21% ABV, and you give them 2 cocktails, they're tipsy like they had a vodka cranberry. So just something to think about and, understand a little
Do you
bit.
have the numbers, any numbers that shows what we're currently making from beer and wine
I think I'll
sales?
pull it.
Would you care to?
Can I ask y'all questions to think about? And I'm sure Courtney's already discussed this, but you can do an excise tax, a sin tax per drink. I mean, my question is, I would never vote on this until I knew what was going to happen with that money. And I'm sure Glenn would outline that in the paper when you come up with whatever. But I mean, you can do an excise tax, which is by the drink. Because if you do just a liquor license, an alcohol license, how much is an alcohol license now?
$1,000.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be higher.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 businesses. Needs to be higher. And then there needs to be a continuous revenue. I mean, one time a year, you're making 15, that's not enough. It needs to be an excise tax. I mean, this is my opinion. This is questions for you guys to think about. It needs to be an amount per drink, because that's then a steady stream of revenue. How are you going to allocate those funds? Like, before I would vote on that, I want to know what you're going to do with that money. Is it going to go to, infrastructure, facilities that we need here? Is it going to, is it going to go to public safety? Like, I would want to know where that money is going. I know we need a new boardroom, we need new community spaces. Like, it's almost like if you did that excise tax, and tell me if I'm talking wrong, it's almost like a SPLOST, it's almost like an extra tax that just comes to the city.
Right.
And it's continuous, it's not one time a year. But I would want to know what that's going to. And we have plenty of needs, it could go somewhere. And then I want you to think about,
This goes in general fund.
Right now it does.
Yeah, we're pretty sure it goes in general fund right now, so that it gets.
That's what she's going to.
She'll pull it here.
yeah, but I'm just saying, if you got that extra revenue,
Right.
and I would trust that y'all, if it went in general fund, y'all would use it for the right things, but that would be good for somebody to know that's voting,
Well,
right?
one thing to think about, I know we've got 2 officers that's on a grant right now there's no guarantee that it'll renew.
Right, I mean, public safety is a perfect example. And then think about, like, the buffer zone. I know you've got church ordinances and all that, but if it's special events, if it's something that's, how close to houses can it be? If that were to change. Package sales, I don't know. I mean, you can go right down here to
That's right.
Raymond's or whatever. That's a whole different clientele of folks. And you guys got to think about that. I understand. She's right. I mean, an expensive drink is probably not going to be your folks, but I don't know. I think there needs to be a plan with what's going to happen.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
think
agree
y'all
with you on
Very
that,
good
on that
points.
very good point. But I guess, more than anything, it's you look at it in a way like SPLOST. Because there's gonna be more people coming in buying it than they are here buying it.
Sure,
I
right.
mean, fact, that's just fact. So you know, and I respect everybody's opinion, believe me, I really do. But, you know, my opinion, I like giving people the choice of voting for it.
Right.
If it passes, it says yes, if it don't, it says no, and we're good, we'll go some other way and do what we need to do.
That's the only thing I disagreed with when Billy was
You know.
speaking about you guys deciding on whether to make it legal or not. Y'all can't decide on whether to make it legal or not.
And
But you can give the citizens the choice on
We can
whether to
decide
make it
whether
legal
to
or
give the
not.
citizens the
Right.
choice.
Right, but
And,
what kind of
yeah.
council doesn't give their citizens a choice?
But you also gotta give us,
Right.
you also gotta set
the
parameters. as to what
guidelines
it
of
is.
what,
Exactly.
what it's gonna take
Well, then,
and what
this
it will
was
be.
just brought up a couple of weeks ago, so, you know, we're learning.
No, I know.
as-
I'm just
as
thinking of
what
things to
y'all
think about,
Are
yeah.
saying, there's a lot of,
To it.
But like she said,
Yeah.
if it does go to a vote
Be
and
ready.
you gotta be ready or else it's the Wild Wild West.
Right.
That's my thing.
Be ready.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to have a meeting so we can.
Yep. Be ready with your rules and your ordinances and your.
You know, this
You can't just stick your head in the sand.
is the first for me, so I need guidance on rules and regulations from all of y'all that have done it before. You know, so if we put it out there and it does pass, then, you know, we need to be ready and not be
I
like
agree.
Ned in the first reader there, you know, and say, what are we gonna do now?
I agree. And I want to make sure you understand that it's two separate questions if you do the referendum. Can there be distilled spirits by the drink in Mccaysville? And can there be distilled spirits by the package in Mccaysville?
No, that would just be package, right, not distilled spirits.
No, it's distilled spirits. The only thing the citizens can vote on is distilled spirits.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, we will have to decide package sales.
You have to
correct?
decide beer and wine package
Package
sales.
sales,
But
okay.
I want to make sure you understand that there are two questions. You can put them on the ballot at the same time. You can say you only want to do one question. So like if you wanted to not do package now, you could just do the drink. Like you have all that. And the council is the one, it's a resolution that is brought forth and it's just, if it passes, it goes on the referendum. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. If you call for a referendum and it does not pass, there cannot be another referendum for 2 years.
2 years.
Is this the time they would look at like a special events liquor license too?
They could do that.
Because that's gonna be the next thing that people will want.
They could do that. If distilled spirits is approved, then they'll have more time to deal with that later on if they wanted to.
Okay.
But I think I know that Denise came back probably with numbers, but I think after Denise gives you the numbers, a good place to start is maybe bifurcating those two. Like, let's talk about sales. Like, I mean, you can't vote, but at the same time, last time I went to this, I told you I didn't want to waste your time or money. So I want to get like a sense. I don't want to waste time or money from citizens. And so if we're going to have the referendum, though, I got to be ready. So I got to be ready to go. And I think it is good to have these things that are, if it passes, what are we going to do? Are we going to expand the downtown business area? Are we going to keep things the way they are? Are you going to allow happy hours? All those things that need to be put in there because right now happy hours are not allowed. Do you allow a happy hour? What do you do? So I think after Denise gives the numbers, I welcome any council member to start talking about distilled spirits by the drink.
So the number is $12,834.90 for the year.
For last year,
Yes.
What is the current tax on beer?
So tax on beer and wine is, so beer is 5 cents per 12 ounces. Is what we get off that, 5 cents per 12 ounces. Wine is 22 cents per liter, and that's by state law. So, but distilled spirits is 22 cents per liter, and a rate up to 3% charge as well for each drink sold.
and you can do a percentage per the
Correct.
drink if you do by drink, not just by the wine.
Right,
From
you
the-
can add. Yeah, the sin tax.
Mike, does any of that money go to the state?
No, that's all our money.
Yeah.
The state gets their portion now. They get, trust me, they get their portion of taxes. But that's what we get back.
Okay, so you said, I believe the license was $1,000 now.
That's including the license, and that's how much we get a year, or what we got last year off alcohol.
So this amount is including the
The
license,
license, yes,
so it's
sir.
really 9,000.
It's actually $6,834.90, and then you add $6,000 more to that for the licenses that we
You
they
got one
purchase.
for beer and one for wine.
Correct.
So it's 1,000 and 1,000.
Correct.
Okay.
In mimicking what Courtney said, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't make the decision here. I just have to enforce whatever ordinance y'all put in front of me. My suggestion would be, if the citizens pass, if y'all vote for the citizens to, if y'all vote to put this on the ballot for the citizens to vote on, I say we need to mimic the ordinance we have in place, just add distilled spirits to it. As far as the times go, now maybe changing some things like we talked about earlier, 3 years ago, I should say, at that workshop. But your times, your last calls, and how it's enforced, I think should stay the same. Because we actually do have a very good alcohol ordinance here. There's a few things in it that needs to be changed, like we discussed 3 years ago, and a few things I discussed tonight. But as far as how it's enforced and how I can pull their alcohol license at any given time if they violate this ordinance, and I'll tell the council, I have sent people down there under the age of 21 just to see if they can buy a drink or not. And I've not got them, they've not been caught yet. So kudos to the restaurants for that. And the ATF has went down there as well, undercover, and tried to find things to pull their alcohol license with. And I'm sure Sheila's probably sitting there thinking, oh my God, but hey, they've passed every time.
So if we mimic what we have, what extra do we need to add to that to be ready to do that?
It would be the
If it
distilled
passed.
spirits part.
The distilled spirits part, so it should be, so everywhere in our current ordinance it says distilled spirits is not allowed. Okay?
Correct.
So we would go through, we would change that. We would change the excise tax portion, but really that's by state law, so that's not very much to put in there. If you could do just that, the bare minimums, and not change anything else in there. However, if you're going to do package sales, then that's going to need to be changed. But I would say a bulk of that work was done 3-4 years ago whenever we went through the amendment process and then it didn't pass. So you could go ahead and do the package as well if the council voted to do that referendum.
And then you would have to add what percentage you wanted
It would be the fee,
per drink,
It's really by state law, but
state law.
yeah.
which is that 22 I can't even talk, 22 cents per liter, and then up to a rate of 3% per drink. But now one thing that would have to be, so this is the old one that we talked about 4 years ago, this one here. But now, to say that, Mayor, if y'all want to look at that ordinance to put distilled spirits in, they do get to vote on what the license fee would be.
Yes.
So right now, it's $2,000 for beer and $2,000 for wine. Every year they can, it's a percentage, it's half of that, 1,000 for beer and 1,000 for wine. They don't have to pay the full price every year. But we need to come up with a fee of how much are we going to charge. If you do liquor by the drink in a restaurant atmosphere only, which I think is what needs to be done, as your police chief, I think it needs to be inside a restaurant.
Which is what the beer and wine is right now by the drink is inside.
And that's what I'm saying, if we can mimic this same ordinance
Identical.
for its restaurants only,
Yeah.
and just come up with a fee of what we're going to charge them to have a liquor license as well. Right now, beer's $2,000, wine's $2,000. Do we keep it 2,000? Yeah, you know what I mean. Do you keep it the same? I got so much stuff in front of me here.
So, I think at least some of the comments was that maybe it should be more. Okay? If you're gonna do distilled spirits, make it more. Okay? I think that's absolutely something the council has the ability to do. As long as it's reasonable, I think you can do it. You could charge $5,000. I think you could do that. You could say that nobody or no business could have more than 3. That'd be $15,000 right there. But really, I feel like Michael and I are talking a lot, which is great. But
Is it?
I don't know. I really want to make sure that all of your questions are answered and to hear from the direction of you, because ultimately, if you're not going to vote on a referendum, then what do we do?
It's just my job and Courtney's job to enforce it, whatever y'all vote on. So,
I have a question. Does the license go to an individual or to a business?
it's
And
a-
does it stay with the business if the business sells?
So a license goes to a business, and they have what they call a managing agent within that business. And that managing agent has a background check done on them, fingerprints done on them. They can't have no felonies within the past 3 years. And if there's any felonies on there, I get to decide whether or not they get their license or not. So the alcohol license itself is in that person's name. That's a managing agent for that company. And at any given time, if they violate these city ordinances or the city ordinance that's in place, I can pull their alcohol license from them. Yes, ma'am. They have to also be a resident of Fannin County. So everybody's like, well, Mike Galinsky's not a resident of Fannin County. No, he's not, but his managing agent is. And that's who the alcohol license name is in, is that managing agent, not his name.
And how many licenses can that managing agent hold?
There's no limit.
There's no limit.
Right now, there's no limit.
So basically, if you own 5 restaurants, you can have 5 alcohol licenses according to our ordinance that we have in place right now, which is beer and wine only. Now, the council, if they decide to put this on the ballot and the citizens vote yes to have liquor by the drink or distilled spirits, they can limit the number of licenses for those if y'all wish to. You can say we're only going to have 5 places inside the city that sells distilled spirits. And once those 5 are gone, they're gone. And y'all can amend that, correct, Courtney? Mm-hmm. If you want to add more later down the road, you can.
Yep.
But as your police chief, I firmly believe that if the citizens pass this, it should be in a restaurant atmosphere only, because I don't want to deal with anything not being in a restaurant atmosphere only.
No bars. No honky tonks.
So right now, there can only be 3 that would really qualify, correct?
Correct. Now, like I said, if we're going to go off the downtown business district and keep it the way it is now, you know, let's say State Line Barbecue right there by the Masonic Lodge wants to do something, they can. Anything inside that downtown business district. If Ed Best sells IGA and builds a restaurant, he could. But it's got to be inside that downtown business district, yes, sir.
Would State Line be too close to the First Baptist Church?
100 yards, possibly, yes. I'd have to measure it. Yeah.
Over Kenny's Pizza.
Yeah.
Close.
Which,
That's
Use that 10-inch rule.
which Kenny's can, I mean, now, let me restate this. There's no yardage for beer and wine to church, school only. So if State Line Barbecue wanted to do beer and wine, they can, and so could Kenny's. It's only for distilled spirits that has the yardages in place unless there's a school involved or a voting precinct. The city hall here is a voting precinct. So you can't have no restaurants within 250 feet within this city hall here that sells anything, beer or wine. So 250 feet from the city hall cannot have beer and wine because it is a voting precinct.
Those are sober when they come.
The Black Sheep of Blue Ridge was that close.
What about Harbor Ministries right here?
Is that too close to Burger?
Be awful
It
close
would
to
be,
Toonies.
it would be too close to Toonies, yes.
How about Burger?
Mm, I'd have to measure that.
Because that's a church.
And to piggyback on Michael, you also can do it from the housing authority.
Correct.
It can be so far from the housing authority.
Okay, so we kind of mimic this, then we have to decide the fee or the license. The percentage,
No, that's
that's the state,
state.
okay. What else then?
I think that
How it's enforced, which I strongly suggest that we keep the original ordinance that we have as far as the enforcement, the rules and regulations in place, and just add distilled spirits if the citizens vote it in.
I do think a question needs to be cleared. I mean, I do think it would be nice to hear the council's input about package sales concerning the drinking of a portion of a bottle of wine.
Correct.
So, and to make sure you all understand, the council cannot vote on distilled spirits. They vote to put it on the referendum. The citizens vote for distilled spirits. Package sales for beer and wine is council. Okay, the citizens can't vote on that, that's you guys. So there is a world where you could change and put package sales for just beer and wine and not do a referendum for distilled spirits, if that's what the council decided to do. You also could just not do package sales at all, if you do that knowing that currently what it says that Michael said is true. It does say that it has to be uncorked and then you can take home leftovers in a brown bag.
And that is an open container.
Breaks the law.
But
No,
it's corked.
it's corked.
Madam Attorney, I know. I know.
There's a lot of restaurants that have that.
Yeah.
In Blue Ridge.
In Blue Ridge,
Yeah.
yeah, they do it in Blue Ridge.
It's not so-
And then discuss if we want to, how the funds that would come off this would be allocated. They go just as a general fund or for a certain.
General fund.
Now,
You know, I think general fund.
That's the way it goes now.
So I guess, so if any, I guess who would be interested to put it on a ballot, either one?
I got a question before we go that far.
We're here.
What about this alcohol sales on Sunday? And why did you, what's the change? Why are we going to 12 o'clock at night?
That's what the citizens
what-
voted on.
Yeah, that's what's,
About eight years ago, was it? 7?
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it passed by 3 votes.
so what's on here is approved other than allowing
Yeah,
still.
so there's no changes. I think, Glenn, what you might be looking at was the referendum.
I guess, I don't know, an ordinance of the city of Mccaysville, Georgia to amend the code of ordinances of the city of Mccaysville.
Yep.
And 1, 2, 3, part 4, whereas that in order to place the question on a referendum, a local government authority must pass a resolution or ordinance permitting sales of alcohol on Sunday between the hours of 11 and 12 a.m.
So that's what, exactly what Michael just said. That was the referendum. So it's reciting here what the referendum was.
That's what was approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what was on the ballot, Mr. Chastain,
Back in,
2018. And the citizens here in Mccaysville voted for Sunday sales. It passed.
It is the date.
Yes.
It's got the date on it. wasn't looking at that, sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's okay.
This is 19,
2019, okay. I knew it was somewhere right in there.
yeah, 19.
And what was your question?
So the question I got for everybody is, you know, we've got two options here to put on a ballot. Who would be, and Courtney, stop me if I,
You're fine, you can do a straw poll. That's what it's called, a straw poll.
who would be interested in putting, and which ones, or both, or just one, on a ballot for the May 19th?
Do one, do the other. Do one,
Yeah, let's do one.
Okay.
So like, let's just talk about just the distilled spirits by the package.
Package. So who would be interested in,
I'll explain.
it's basically
what that
package
is.
sales of distilled spirits.
Exactly.
Basically allowing a store to sell liquor by the drink in it.
Grocery store, liquor store. Yeah, bottle.
Talking
And
about grocery
Bottles
stores,
or by the bottle?
any bottles or whatever,
just so.
allowing the citizens to vote on it, yes or no.
Just, okay. Clear.
Okay, so you guys can talk freely. You can say, I would not vote for it, I would vote for it, I would not vote for it, I would vote for it. That's all you have to say. It's not a vote, it's just, hey, if this was presented, like, a straw poll, it's allowed, it's okay.
Vote to put it on the ballot.
A referendum. Yeah,
And this is which one?
package, bottles. Bottles, sell it by the bottle. Liquor by the bottle.
I would oppose it.
I would oppose it.
I would oppose it.
Me too.
Okay,
So what about the liquor by the drink
In a restaurant.
in a restaurant? I would vote for it.
I can't vote, but I would.
I'd oppose it,
I'd oppose
based
it
on what
also.
people have told me.
okay. So it looks like, and then Billy Wayne, would you oppose it or would you be in favor of putting it on a referendum?
No, ma'am, I oppose it.
Okay, so you've got 4 council members who would oppose putting it on a referendum. 1 council member who would support a referendum. So I think that answers most of the questions. At this point in time, I think it would be a waste of money for me to do any work on the alcohol, knowing that. Of course, it could always be brought up again. Anybody could change their mind. Does anybody have any questions about the alcohol, just to wrap things up?
Are we going to look at possibly looking at the ordinance we have in place now for beer and wine, trying to amend some of that to what we was going to do 3 years ago?
You can ask that same question. Like, so.
I mean, that ordinance is already drafted, you already drafted it.
Yeah,
And
but the main things of that ordinance were happy hour, some typos, and then package sales of beer and wine. So I guess that's the biggest one. So I guess you could have the same straw poll. Would be solely a council decision, not
Let me
saying
ask
anything
you
on the
this, could you
ballot.
do the package sales in a restaurant, like you do the drinks? Like for them selling the wine?
I think you can, I think that we previously proposed it with a square footage,
it was square footage.
with a square footage requirement. I don't know if you could do it with food necessarily. I'd have to look and see if you could do it.
Just trying to, I know Michael's concerned.
Yeah.
You got 50,000 square foot on here.
I wanted it big.
Yeah, retail package dealer license for malt beverages and wine shall be issued only to premises which meet the definitions. Drugstore, convenience store, grocery store in which maintain at least 75% of the floor space and storage area in a manner which is devoted principally to retail sale of items other than alcoholic beverages. And I think the 50,000 square feet was because of a grocery store. So they have to sell some other types of items to be able just to sell beer and wine. It just can't be a beer and wine store.
Yeah, and we had proposed something in here too that specifically said if it was sold in connection with a dining establishment.
I thought we'd put something.
Yeah, we had
like
put
that.
some language in there that said 50%.
It's 50%.
Yeah, had to be from food.
Can I ask this question? I mean, why would we be opposed to putting liquor by the drink on a ballot? I know Billy Wayne's opinion, but everyone else's.
From talking to some of the,
Citizens,
They expressed they didn't want.
What did they say?
they didn't want us to be like everybody
How many
else.
citizens? How many citizens? How many folks? What's the voting?
I don't know, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, if we put it on a ballot, they could vote no, is my whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not for or against it. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm a let the citizens decide what they want person. So you're saying you talk to people, but if the few people you talk to don't want it, you're putting their not wanting it above everybody else getting to make a choice on it.
You're really not for the citizens voting. Sounds like a personal decision. If you didn't worry about what the citizens would vote, you would allow everybody to get a fair vote in it. And I think that's why you all are on the council, because you care about people and care about what they think and how they feel, or you wouldn't be sitting right there. Unless I'm wrong, I don't know.
I'm a citizen, and I think we should be allowed to vote for it, just personally. I think it should be up to us, not y'all. No offense, but I love you all. I know all of you, but it should be our decision.
So, anybody change their mind, or are we all still where we're at?
We just speak. I think you should let the citizens vote. Don't be afraid of the people that live here. Let them decide. The communities we live in, I've been in this county since 1994. It changes. It's changed a lot since then. It's a different folks who live here now, and every now and then we have to give them a chance to speak. The people who voted in 2019 or whenever that was, there's been a lot of changes since then. So I think we have to be reflective and appreciative of the people who live here now in this county. And I've seen it change since '94. I mean, it's, you know, I had to sneak a bottle of liquor in '94 for my, you know, to have at my house. And, you know, so it's changed. And, you know, I look at the, you know, the state patrolling folks. Yes, we do have a few DUIs that occur in the county. It's not many, but you never want to have any. But it's a change. And don't be afraid of change. Let the people speak. And maybe they're telling you it's time for y'all to let other people represent here rather than yourselves. If you're so different than the people who are here, or you're afraid to find out.
Are you a citizen of the city of Mccaysville?
No, I'm not. I live in the county.
Well,
Yeah. But I spend a lot of time here. Yeah.
It'd be nice if we had a way of knowing what the citizens wanted to do,
Well,
vote or not.
That's the ballot.
Like
Let them vote.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
let them
not
vote.
talking
That's how you
about-
know.
No, I'm
there's
not talking about putting it on the
cost to a
ballot.
referendum.
I'm talking about having them, with all respect, let's have a poll to see if they want to vote or not.
Well, now, to answer that question, the citizens can get a petition up. If they get enough signatures,
You don't have a choice.
you don't have a choice but to let them put
There
it
will
on the
be a
ballot.
referendum.
Well, that would do.
That's where I'm at.
yeah.
And I
If the
think
citizens,
that's based off of the last election, petition-wise, the number-wise.
I'm sure.
So I
yeah.
think you'd have to have, if I ain't mistaken, there was like 160-something people vote
I think it has to be nine.
2-3 years ago, council.
No, I think you've got to have, to call a referendum, I think you have to have it the population.
Okay,
It's a percentage of the population.
I'm trying to
Or
remember.
registered voters, that's, yes.
Yeah, register.
I can look that up real fast.
I'm thinking about a petition to remove somebody is based off of. I got so many laws going on in my head right now.
You want us to give?
No. I'm just saying, I think you have to have at least 10% of the voters on that.
My computer froze, but I can get you that information. Billy Wayne, I will say that if I don't know if you could do a poll necessarily, but you could certainly open up the council meeting. And if this place is flooded where people can't get in and they say that they want it, I would assume that you all would listen to it.
Well, I know it's a lot more packed right now than it was at the last council meeting.
And I guess, I would assume that you all would, people could write you letters, they could come see you, you're out and about in the community.
Hey, I got city got me a phone, it's got a robo number. Nobody knows what it is, and nobody will answer whenever I dial them. But I would not care to put that number on and let people call me and say, yes, I want to vote, or no, I don't want to vote.
Okay.
And then if there is a consensus of the citizens want to vote for it, then I would have to say, I have no choice.
Not giving them a choice.
That may not be a good idea, but
Okay, so then I think that kind of gives everybody some clarity. It seems that they want to hear from the citizens.
I agree, because you might have 40 people come out and vote.
Well.
Have a special election and not have anybody hardly
well,
show up.
I know how it's going to be, and we all know how it's going to be. The people that want it is going to really flood, and the other people are, I don't know.
They're not.
So that's what I think. That's the way I think it goes. But I want to know what the people want to do.
You gotta have 35% of the registered voters in the city
For a
to
petition.
sign a petition. There's 790-ish registered voters in the
Say
city. 800, let's just say 800. So 35% of them's gotta sign a piece of paper saying they want it.
280 people.
280.
And I would need to contact you.
Yeah, that's true. I will say, Michael and Denise know these numbers better. And I think what Billy Wayne is saying, that he doesn't think that more than 40 people would even come out to vote on it. At our Sunday sales, we had,
Oh, God.
100?
100, and it passed by 3 votes.
yeah. So,
I didn't say 40. Somebody else said.
Jolita said 40.
I think it'd be a big vote.
Oh,
I think that there'll be a lot of people who will speak their mind.
And that's what you'd want in an
Yeah.
election
Yeah,
like
more
that.
people.
You want as many people to come, advertise it. And that's what my whole deal was, to
And then if
let the people decide.
if the majority says, we need to vote on it, then put it on the ballot and let them vote.
Goes on the ballot. Say that. Not up to the council.
I think the one last lingering thing with Jason was asking, would the council entertain, like another straw poll, to see if you want to revise, or maybe Michael, to see if you want to revise the current ordinance to allow for package of beer and wine. That's solely a council decision.
Where's packaging reach, Michael? If we're talking about just packages in the restaurants, where it's at now? Or are we thinking about packaging?
It'd be downtown business district, because that's all we got right now. So it would be anything on Blue Ridge Drive from the intersection of the police department to
Okay, I just want-
IGA. So it'd be, if Ed Vest wanted to do it, or the Conoco wanted to do it, they could.
So that's adding to what we have.
Correct. So the biggest issue you got is that whole bottle of wine thing, like me and Courtney was talking about earlier, is, a lot of people go down there and buy wine at a restaurant, and they don't want to get food, they just want to buy a bottle of wine. But the way the ordinance states is you have to take a drink of it before you can buy it. Now, I get going to a restaurant and sitting down and having dinner, and you not finish your bottle of wine, you cork in it and take it home. Yeah, they do that in Blue Ridge, they do that everywhere. But if you just want to go down there and buy one single bottle of wine to take home to drink or eat, with your meal, or not eat, but drink with your meal at home, you have to uncork it, take a drink of it, cork it back, and then you can leave with it.
Well, that would just be making it a package,
Correct.
you know.
So I would say, yeah, like it'd be more of less of packaging for your restaurants and what few businesses down there that might and might not want to do it. But it would all be contained in that business district, just that little section there. And as far as the distilled spirits go, Deb, you made a very good point. By state law, Toonies could not have it anyhow because there's a church there. And I don't even know if Burra could because it's got to be 100 yards from a church. I did not think about that till you made that point. So that's got to go with what state law says.
How do you measure?
You
Wall
don't
to
know.
wall or
Door to door.
door to door? Okay.
Well, we know that.
Yeah.
It'd be close, wouldn't it? Close, but,
It's 100 yards. A football field.
Okay, so it would.
A football field from door to door.
It would hit.
Be close.
let me tell y'all a story. Can I just deviate just a little bit?
I don't know, it's up to Courtney.
Billy Wayne,
Oh.
you just talk. You just
I thought
talk.
you was done.
Only if you'll answer my straw poll question afterwards.
You don't, this is, I guess you're saying, well, what's wrong with that guy? Why is he against liquor? I'm gonna tell you why I am against liquor. When I was about 13 years old, I lived up here in Mccaysville. I had my mom and dad. Dad worked regular. Mom stayed at home. She had about, at that time, I was trying to think how many kids we, brothers and sisters. I'm a one of 9. There was probably 6 of us at that time. One day, we were at home. Dad was at work. There was a knock on the door. Mom went to the door, and the neighbor, who was so drunk he could hardly stand up, started molesting my mother right there on our porch. The kids beat his butt, and Mama with a broom, and we run him off the porch. And there was another guy standing down off the steps, and they wobbled away. Now that's where I'm at on liquor. And whenever I said the most addicting drug that there is alcohol, that's what the book says. It's not what I say. But it really messes with me to say it's okay. I am aiding and abetting, so to speak, allowing someone else to go out and maybe drink too much and do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. So that's where I'm at on this whole thing. Okay, I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize, Billy.
Oh, but I want people to know why I'm against it.
Could I say something? I had to have 4 operations last summer. Never been in the hospital before. One of the first questions they asked me, do you drink alcohol? And I don't. But the other part of the question was, how much? And I was a little curious about that, and they said, well, we're not going to treat you if we don't know. like Billy Wayne said, it's highly addictive, makes you walk funny sometimes, and makes you see things. But probably worst of all, it lengthens reaction time. And people are driving 2-ton cars at high rates of speed and passing by inches. And it can be frightening sometimes. Last year, I was run out of the road between here and Blue Ridge 2 times by people pulling up, seeing me, looking at me till I get close and pull right out in front of me. It's dangerous. The reaction times being lengthened by the use of it is more scary. That's why I'm against it.
Well, y'all heard my sob story, let's continue.
I think the only question left really is putting distilled spirits to the side. Would, if it was brought to you, a straw poll question, would you entertain, would you support, would you not be in support of having package sales of beer and wine in the city if we model it basically after our same ordinance?
And there's more things in there too.
There are more things, but just as a general question.
Does that mean like, explain that to me, like is that beer in the gas station? Like is that what you're saying?
So the way it's written right now, I mean, you could say whatever you wanted to say when you're answering the question. The way it's written right now is it would have to be a square foot minimum. There also has to be another component of food being sold with the alcohol.
And it can only be in that downtown business district that's set in place by that by the ordinance now, which is the intersection to down there.
So does the church.
That only applies with
Distilled
distilled
spirits.
spirits.
Yeah, I'd be good.
You would,
Talk about it.
you would support it?
Guess I'm a heathen now.
Is there any other council member who would support it? Okay.
You're heathen.
Heathen. Do something about me. Alright, well, I guess we've done it unless you want to
Yeah,
put public talk. Eric.
Anybody else have anything they would like to add?
I'd like to hear from the folks here. I've done heard.
Let me ask this, who all's a citizen in Mccaysville? Alright, and if you want to, show of hands, who would like to see it on the ballot? There's some of you people.
There's also some in here that don't want to sit on the ballot. That'd be me.
That's fine. There's gonna be, that's why we put it to a vote. Hey, if it don't pass, it's 2 years.
Yes, sir.
We've been talking all night about putting it on the ballot, putting it not on the ballot. But if, like I just said, if he don't want to put it on the ballot, it's up to the individual to get out there and promote not on the ballot or put it on the ballot. Let it be known, a lot of people won't hear nothing about this tomorrow. So it's us that needs to get out there and either promote it or not promote it, one of the two. We don't need to stay in this, like we talked about at the church. We don't spread the word of gospel outside the four walls, and it don't do no good. If we spread this tonight, what we talked about tonight, what I've heard tonight, if we go out in this 800 people community and voice our opinions and explain to them what's going on, I don't think they'll pass.
And that's fine, but at least you got the,
But
you got the right, you got the voice to say that.
But there's costs associated if you start putting it on the ballot and so forth. Like Courtney was saying, there's going to have to be things put in place in case it does pass wherever else. Well, that's all fine and well if it passes, but if it doesn't, you spend all that money in vain, and that's taxpayer money. I may be wrong in my thought process on that, but when it only brought in $6,000 outside of the sales anyway, how much is it gonna cost in legal fees and preparations and these kind of things? I mean, I may be way off in my thought process there, and that's kind of just the business side of it.
No, I respect your opinion.
And that's beer and wine revenue. Liquor
Sure.
revenue is completely, we would triple, quadruple if you
But
really
in
want
that-
to talk about revenue.
But in that, you said that y'all had found an alternative, so if you found something to replace that, you essentially don't need.
Yeah, but people who drink vodka, tequila, old fashions, whiskey, they don't want to drink grape distilled anything.
I was just using what you said.
I know.
Your
I've
words.
managed many businesses, and in Hiawassee, when
I'm
we were
not-
bringing in
I'm not
100,000 in
accusing
liquor,
you of anything.
I'm not, but someone who understands revenue compared to beer, wine, and liquor, I can give you a little insight that it's completely different.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially getting trains that are 500 people,
Okay.
and now double trains, it's a lot more revenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Okay.
Okay, thank y'all for coming.
Would you care to write your phone number? I might have got to. Okay, call it. I don't answer the phone unless I
How you make it? I know it's all. That is very lean on
Yeah, that number came in.
Well, that's okay. I figured
I got it next meeting.
Uh,
Okay.